Now, it's one of the greatest gardening events in the country, attracting over 100,000 visitors every year. But at this year's Gardeners' World show, forget Monty Don or Alan Titchmarsh. The star attraction will be John Cavill, who's a gardening enthusiast from Barton-upon-Humber. Lindsay Smith has been to meet him.
Quaint country gardens, traces of the Mediterranean and urban allotments. The Gardeners' World Show is a star-studded event in the horticultural calendar. But this year its biggest plot has been awarded to John Cavill and his elaborate labyrinth.
I've made it a bespoke labyrinth by putting 7 outer seating rings on it. So there'll be seats that you can sit on and look down over the whole show. You can walk in, you can walk around it. I want the public to interact with the planting and the garden as it is.
Labyrinths are said to be a metaphor for a spiritual journey through life. As well as lush evergreens and exotic grasses, the centrepiece of John's will be a 20-foot-high pavilion. Today it was pieced together for the very first time. John's been planning this garden for 3 years. After just a week on public display at the NEC, it will be demolished. But maybe not forever.
Hopefully somebody in this area, one of the wildlife parks or the stately homes, would like a labyrinth of this nature building at where they are. So yeah, hopefully we can bring this back up to this region and do it again.
And good luck to John. We wish him well. Lindsay Smith with that report. Lindsay Smith and Camilla Parker Bowles all in one report. Probably that's the first time that's happened on Look North. Now today is a very special day for one gardener from Lincolnshire. John Cavill's garden will finally be unveiled at the BBC Gardeners' World Live. It's been a real labour of love for him. We've been following him all the way. Caroline Davis has this.
It's a dream which has been 4 long years in the making, but now John Cavill's labyrinth is more than just a blueprint. It's now growing in front of him. For months he's been nurturing over 1,500 plants, shrubs and trees in these greenhouses in North Lincolnshire, all in preparation for one of the biggest horticultural events of the year, the BBC Gardeners' World Live. But what you see in these nurseries are a world away from the finished article.
We've got edging to put in, a pathway to put in, which is a very special resin surfacing, banks to put around the hull of the show garden. Benches have to be brought in, a big 15-foot high pavilion put up in the centre. 2 monolith stones are dug into the entrance to the labyrinth, and I think that's just about it.
And here it is, the Labyrinth, the biggest show garden this event has ever seen. But time for inspiration is over. It's now time for the perspiration to begin. Would you believe 7 days ago this was a car park? It's taken an awful lot of digging to get it to look like this, but has it been worth it?
Fantastic. This is excellent. I mean, the temperature at the moment is pretty hot, and we're having to water all the time. But yeah, this is coming on great. Looking at the way this is set out, absolutely fabulous.
Well, it may have been 4 years in the making, but it will only take a week to demolish. The question is, will it be packed away with a gold medal?
Well, join me at 6:30 for tonight's Look North. Caroline will have a special report from the Gardeners' World Live, and we'll find out whether John Cavill did win a medal. She'll also be meeting Michael Parkinson. We'll have some response on that story in just a bit. Now, today's been a very special day for one gardener from Lincolnshire. John Cavill's work of art was finally unveiled to the judges and the public at the BBC Gardeners' World Live exhibition in Birmingham. Well, it's been a long, tough job making the garden a reality. Here's Caroline Davis.
Now, in this garden alone, I'm surrounded by £45,000 worth of plants. The path I'm walking on is worth up to £30,000. But to the man who designed this garden, just being here is priceless.
John Cavill has spent the last 4 years of his life on this labour of love. Here in these nurseries in Lincolnshire, he and a team of helpers have nurtured thousands of plants, from shrubs and grasses to perennials and annuals of every shape, size and colour, all grown to take their place in the largest show garden the UK has ever seen, the Labyrinth. this is his first attempt. Today, the novice competes against the veterans at one of the most prestigious horticultural events of the year. Everyone who is anyone in the gardening world is here, from the obvious.
People come here to transfer this show to their gardens, quite literally. You can't buy things at Chelsea. Here you can buy all day, every day, and people bring estate cars, vans, little trolleys, and they stagger home with plants.
To the not so obvious, this famous face was here to receive his very own rose.
Jeffrey Boycott, my old friend, 10 years ago got a rose named after him, and I've been incredibly jealous ever since. And I said to him today that the only these Dickie Bird, I said, there's the 3 most boring Yorkshiremen in the world have got roses, so they're going to do it for Dickie Bird next year.
Well, Parky may have got his rose, but John got silver. John, how are you feeling today?
I feel extremely proud today. The garden's great, there's lots of people walking around inside it, everybody appears to be enjoying it. Plants are great, and we're really looking forward to next year and maybe the chance of building yet another garden.
Well, you know you've made it big when you have the gardening guru, Dermot Gavin, sitting in your garden. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us on Look North.
I'm delighted to be here. Isn't this beautiful?
Gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think to the labyrinth, just looking at it from this angle in the pavilion?
I can't get over the ambition of this being John's first show garden and just the scale of it. It's not something I'd attempt, it's as simple as that. He's either genius or mad, and I'm veering on the side of genius at the moment.
Well, should we take a wander and see it in all its glory?
It does invite that, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Well, Dermot, this is said to be the country's largest ever show garden. Have you ever seen anything quite like this before?
The ambition in terms of scale is stunning, but not only that, the quality is there right the way through. This is a beautiful garden, well planned, fits in with the site so well, but it can't be allowed to be left here. I mean, it must be brought home. The town council or some wealthy footballer's wife must buy it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Who wouldn't want this in their garden?
Indeed. I suppose you're known for your unconventional designs. I think that's fair to say. Is this perhaps too conventional for your taste?
This is beautiful, and everybody likes beauty, so I adore it. I think it's fantastic. Really well judged.
Now, while we're here, we need to get a little bit of advice from you, because the gardeners in East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire, they need to know how to sexy up their gardens this summer. Have you got any advice for them?
I'd call John. He'd do it. If you look at this garden, there's a nice line, there's a nice shape, which is very important in terms of garden design. But what are really the stars here are plants, and that's the way it should always be. So, the plants rule.
You don't fancy putting this in your garden then?
My garden is that size by that size.
You haven't got time for gardening in your job. Listen, it's lovely to talk to you, and you've made John's day just being here in his garden, so thank you.
Well, he's done a mighty job.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, it may have been John's first ever show garden, but he still managed to walk away with silver. Just watch this space, because this time next year he's going to be walking away with a Lincolnshire Gold.
I'm sure he will. Well done to John.